Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. Also, thank you for watching my content daily. Since hitting 5k, we've gained 300 new subscribers this week, which is incredible for the channel. So I want to say thank you to those new subs and the consistent support on the videos. It really means the world to me. So yeah, let's get closer to that goal of 6k soon. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell, and also hit that like button if you're enjoying the content. So let's get into today's video, and I just want to shout out the CFC UK fanzine. I'm a writer for it, and I probably haven't mentioned that I think on a video before, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know I am a contributor to the fanzine, an institution at Chelsea Football Club. And even though there aren't games going on at the moment, the fanzine is still being published. It comes out on Monday, the new issue 215. All hard copy and digital subscribers will be posted the new issue, but if you aren't a subscriber, a limited number will also be available, priced at £2. To get more info of how to buy a copy, email cfcuk@gate17.co.uk. All info will be in the description box below. You can see my new article and read it. It's all about Chelsea and being a supporter of Chelsea at the moment during the current pandemic, and what truly matters about being a supporter. So you can check out that article. So let's get into the video and transfer news, because Lautaro Martínez is a name that's now being linked to Chelsea. The Inter Milan forward and Sport are claiming Chelsea have submitted a very high financial offer for Inter striker Lautaro Martínez. As I said, Inter Milan striker, he's impressed a lot of people this season. I've already seen the buzz on social media by Chelsea fans about this link. He's already been compared to Sergio Aguero, of course, and I think that's natural given his skill and also his, height and demeanour. I think if you watch him play football, it's very clear, there are similarities to Sergio Aguero. And of course, Chelsea famously missed out on Sergio Aguero. Chelsea could have had Aguero, I think it was way back in like 2009, but instead, of course, he went to City. The rest is history. 22 years old, let's look at his stats. 31 appearances, 16 goals and 4 assists for Inter Milan in all competitions this season. I just want to make a comparison to Tammy Abraham, because I've spoken about Tammy Abraham a lot and sort of the critics of Tammy. This is one of the most highly rated young strikers in European football. And a lot of people, this is apparently a striker that could be going for like 100 million in the summer, something ridiculous like that. When you look at those stats and you compare them to Tammy, that shows you how well Tammy has done. Just look, I'll put up the stats now on screen to you. What Tammy has done, it's so impressive. Compared 34 appearances, 15 goals, 6 assists. Martinez has got 1 more goal, but Tammy has got 2 more assists. So very similar in age and very similar within the stats and their output. And let's look at the positives of Martinez. He can link up play really well. Him and Lukaku playing in that 3-5-2 formation under Antonio Conte. I think that's so important for a Chelsea striker. Link up play for me is, it's not as important as scoring goals, of course, but I think it's a big attribute at big clubs, at top clubs, to have that link up play, to hold up the ball. I think what both Tammy and Giroud have are just so important. And we've seen it with previous Chelsea strikers. Diego Costa, one of the best I've ever seen at holding up a ball and being able to bring other players into the game, I think is so important. Making something out of nothing. And that's something that Martinez definitely can do and definitely can provide. There is also that, versatility to him. When you watch him and when you study what he does, there's a constant movement about him, moving and dragging defenders out of position, going in, going out. I think that's really exciting about him. And because of his stature, there is more pace to him. And you hear so often about what Lampard's craving about a striker, what he wants in his striker and forward is a striker that's constantly moving, fast moving, can get in behind. And Martinez definitely suits that, absolutely. He scores headers as well, which highlights a physical nature that just because of his smaller stature, he isn't afraid to shirk challenges. He can also play potentially on the left and right wing, which could work in Lampard's system. He's tipped to be one of Europe's best strikers in the coming years, and that's why so many people are excited about him and his ability, and why many feel that Chelsea should go in for Martinez and spend big on him, because like Aguero before, missing out on Martinez would be a big mistake. We've spoken about Moussa Dembele from Lyon as a potential sort of rival to Martinez, if we're speaking about that. And I think just in terms of legitimate reports, I would put Dembele in front of Martinez in terms of actual, I think, reliable sources and news about who Chelsea are going to go for, because Dembele for longer has been reported with Chelsea and linked to Chelsea. So I'd still put Dembele above them, but I think Martinez would be a player that should potentially be on Chelsea's list, absolutely. And I think if Chelsea are interested, it's all about sort of wages versus fees. Of course, we've heard about the massive fee with Chelsea being in competition with Barcelona for this player. It was interesting when I was listening to a podcast on Tifo Football, and Liam Toomey, who I reference a lot of his articles for The Athletic here, Chelsea reporter, sort of speaking about how in a modern game, wages are more important than fees. A lot of fans obsess over big fees, but actually wages are more important, and why a deal can and cannot be done, especially in FFP. And you're sort of thinking, where are Chelsea going to make space for these high wages? Not just about Martinez, if we're speaking about him today, but a variety of players that we'd like to come to the club and potentially really improve us. Olivier Giroud was one of the highest in wages when financial reports for Chelsea came out from 2019. So you do feel that with Willian potentially leaving, Pedro potentially leaving, Giroud could still leave because of his contract. I haven't heard a lot about Michy Batshuayi being linked away, but he could leave as well. Potentially other players in the squad as well who have high wages could free up a lot of space there and make way for a striker as good as Martinez. So Chelsea could potentially need two new strikers. I think what's interesting to me, and it's just a question I want to ask, not in terms of like a stumbling block in terms of would or wouldn't this happen. Martinez currently plays in that 3-5-2 under Conte. We've seen Lampard play a 3-4-2-1. Could Martinez feature as sort of an inverted winger, which we've seen Mason Mount do really successfully this season, just as sort of a winger behind Tammy and being able to link up play with Tammy? What happens though to the likes of Hakim Ziyech, the likes of Christian Pulisic, Callum Hudson-Odoi, potentially another right winger coming in, because of course Pedro and Willian could both leave, so you're going to need a replacement there. And if we're not playing a 3 at the back and we're playing a 4-3-3, you wonder where playing two strikers on the pitch would work. Lampard really hasn't done it that much, and I can't see him doing that and radically changing that next season, just in my opinion. I think he wants to play with wider players rather than having two strikers on the pitch. I mean, potentially you could have a 4-2-3-1, which Lampard has used, and put Martinez as sort of a number 10, second striker just behind Tammy there. But then that's going to affect the playing time of Mason Mount and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So you have to sort of decide here, I think, what you're sort of prioritising in your team. And Martinez, as I speak about with a lot of players for this sort of high fees, high wages, they're not going to come and sit on the bench. Yes, Tammy absolutely needs competition. If he wants to be Chelsea's number 9, he needs to compete and he needs to prove himself. And Tammy wants that competition. You listen to his quotes recently. He knows what it's like to be at Chelsea. You know, he knows the pressure that's on him, and he knows to be the best, you've got to fend off a lot of good players, to be at Chelsea long term. So I don't think it's a case of, protecting Tammy and not allowing anyone to compete with him. Chelsea want to be the best club at the end of the day. We want to see Chelsea be successful. If bringing in a player like Martinez makes Chelsea a more successful club, then happy days, no matter who is playing. But I do feel Chelsea are going to be signing a big striker this summer. I think they're going to invest in that area. It could be Martinez. It could be Dembele, who is probably cheaper, of course, than Martinez. But I want to hear your opinions on Martinez, because he is very highly rated. Of course, Chelsea, Barcelona being linked to him, it isn't that strong at the moment. But do you feel Chelsea are going to go in for Martinez? And what do you think he can bring to Chelsea? How would you solve that conundrum in terms of formation, in terms of who would play in Lampard's formation? Please let me know in the comments below. And some really good news now. Tino time. It's Tino time. Speaking about Tino Anjorin, and this is from the Czar Cancella reporting yesterday that Tino Anjorin has agreed a new Chelsea contract until 2025, just 3 weeks after his Premier League debut. Chelsea have agreed a new deal with Anjorin to renew his contract until 2025 after making significant progress in talks in recent weeks. The 18-year-old, who has just 15 months remaining on his previous deal, now awaits a signing on date, but the contract has been agreed in principle to ensure he remains at the club. Great business once again. Chelsea this season have nailed down, literally, with the exception of Tammy Abraham, which we hope will get done pretty soon, all of the young players have been signed up on long-term deals, which is brilliant. And really does well. It's good for securing the long-term future of the club. Anjorin, I feel now he'll move on next season probably to get a loan move, which I think he requires because of how stacked that midfield area is. We speak about it so often, but to get those substantial minutes, I think he's probably going to have to go to a Premier League side or a high-ranking Championship side to get those substantial minutes that nearly every Chelsea youngster at the moment who's in the first team and thriving got those minutes. You know, Tammy, especially Mason Mount, you know, going on loan to a team like Derby could be really beneficial to Tino Anjorin, or we could get maybe a foreign loan move as well. But this is great news. It really is. And it just shows, I was speaking about Chelsea's negotiating and transfers yesterday, Marina getting another deal over the line potentially, which is really good, especially in the current climate, getting this deal over the line, securing another bright talent that could potentially save Chelsea millions in a potential transfer fee. Absolutely wonderful. Happy that's going to happen, and hopefully it will be confirmed soon. And just lastly, to touch on some more rumours. This is from Nico Shara, the journalist, who has reported that Chelsea are in talks with Alex Telles. Porto want 40 million, and Philippe Coutinho. The good relationship with both of the players' agents apparently could help the Blues to finalise the deal. I've spoken a lot about Alex Telles, so I'm not going to go too much involved with him today. Of course, I've spoken about also Philippe Coutinho in the past on his channel, so you can definitely check out both of those videos that I've made recently. I just think in terms of Telles, it's Telles versus Chilwell for me. It feels like that's very much the route we're going down in terms of left back. I know we've spoken about a wide variety of left backs and people have preferences. Tagliafico, I know, has been mentioned. We spoke about Hakimi earlier in the week. I've spoken about Gramado before. But I just get the sense with all the noise, unless something drastic happens, I do believe it's going to be Telles versus Chilwell for who Chelsea go for. Are they going to go for a premium Premier League player with upwards of 80 million, or are they going to go for a release clause? And with Porto wanting 40 million for that release clause, I think Chelsea will potentially buy it and go in there and get that deal done. I just think it's interesting, the noise around Telles, it keeps on going on. And I think Chelsea want to be really swift in their business this summer. I know there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen in the transfer window, when it's going to happen. But just considering how fast they moved to get Ziyech done, I think Chelsea aren't going to stop there, and I think they want to be really serious and cutthroat this summer. They want to get deals over the line as quickly as they can, be really efficient. And if you can get Telles over the line soon and make a deal happen, it gives Chelsea so much time to focus on right wing, getting replacements, potentially a goalkeeper as well, potentially a centre-back, and potentially, of course, that striker, which we spoke about earlier in the video. So please let me know your comments on, of course, Alex Telles and versus Ben Chilwell. That's a debate that's going to rage on until we get some sort of confirmation about it and conclusion to that debate, with either of the players coming to Chelsea potentially, or neither of them coming to Chelsea. And also Philippe Coutinho, because that's a name, of course, that's been brought up consistently about Chelsea. So please let me know in the comments below. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch today's video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.